This is the Education Business Podcast for consultants and business owners providing services in schools. I'm Claire Riley, and I'll be sharing how to start, grow and scale your education business. I'm often asked about the right way to launch something in the education world, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk you through the latest business that I'm launching. Now, I don't believe there is ever a right way, as how I'm launching my new business is different to how I would launch a new resource line at Classroom Secrets right now. So there are lots of influencing factors such as the audience you already have, how established you are, how known you are, how known your business is, what you're actually launching, is it big, is it small? But I do feel that there are 5 principles that are the same, and so you should get a pen and write these 5 steps down. Number 1, create your idea. Number 2, get validation for your idea. Number 3, create interest for your idea or a movement. Number 4, show the value to your customer base or potential customers. And 5, consider a limited time offer to move people to take action. So this does depend on what you're offering. So obviously I wouldn't do this on a resource line that's part of a subscription at Classroom Secrets, but I might do this for a new business. So with that in mind then, let me walk you through how I've approached launching my new business, Personal Development for Teachers. So what even is this new business then? Let me tell you about my new business because I'm so excited. Well, I want to bring to the teaching community what I've learned through personal development, the journey that I've been on for the past 6 years. If it hadn't have been for business and becoming an entrepreneur, I probably still wouldn't have had my eyes opened on how we can think, act and feel differently in order to get better results and feel better about ourselves. And I want to bring this into the teaching world, as not only will it be transformational for teachers, but in the long run, it's going to be transformational for children too. This could be the opening for children to start to learn the personal development skills that they need to succeed in life. This isn't just a business for me to share my story and what I've learned. This is a movement that I want to start and then grow in order to reach teachers worldwide and change the world. I just want to change the world. So based on what I've been doing recently to get this new business into flight, I've got 3 areas that I want to talk to you about today to get you thinking about your own launches and what I've been doing in this launch. So the first thing is to work backwards. You need to figure out what you want to launch and what needs to happen for that to become a reality. And it's all about trying to figure out what you need to do and when. So what I did is I looked at dates in the future, I considered what else was going on in my life and in my other businesses, and I thought about how quickly I want to get this business off the ground, how committed I was to creating the content and what's possible for me weekly. And then I decided on a date. So you might decide on a date and then as you plan, you might see that you need to maybe move it to a nearer date or a date further in the future as other factors come into your realisation and become clear, like the amount of work maybe you didn't consider at first that you would have to do, or not having enough time to launch. And this is all part of it. And maybe it seems obvious to work backwards and set a date, but many people just work towards something thinking that it will be ready when it's ready. And they don't always plan it out. But you need to plan. And I plan it out in weeks. What needs to be done by who and when. So if I've got a lot of content to write and record, then I need to make sure that it's spread out in the weeks running up to the launch so that I've got enough time to do it. And also that I know my energy levels are going to be right for that, because it's going to be impossible to write all of the content in 1 week. So for me, this plan is quite detailed in the actions. I've got in there the artwork that needs to be created, each piece of content that needs to be written, what needs to be set up behind the scenes, deciding on a name for my offering, when content needs to be published. It's quite a big plan and you need to get everything in one place so that you feel in control. At least I do anyway. That's what I need. Number 2, get an audience. And this feeds into your big plan. So your big question here is, how are you going to tell people and bring them on the journey with you? And so I think about the audience I've already got. So in this case, personal development for teachers will be of interest to some of my Classroom Secrets customers, but not all of them. So while I'll be promoting it, during the launch and launch it to my existing customer base, I do want to have my own following for this company. So I've done a number of things to build my audience now so that I have an interested audience to launch to when the time comes. I've set up a Facebook group, I've created a mailing list, I've committed to a weekly newsletter, and I'm going to be launching a podcast as part of my plan for this new business. And the reason for that is I've realised that my subject matter is quite alien to many teachers, and that's okay, but I need to do some work to help them get to a place where they understand that personal development can change their lives. And a great way to do this that is really low commitment for them and high conversion for me is to start a podcast. So I've put this into my plan to launch the podcast before I launch the membership. And this is about getting validation for my idea, creating a movement for my idea, and also showing my potential customers the value I am bringing. Another thing that I've done to get the validation for my idea is to talk to a lot of people, ex-teachers and current teachers, and I've set up a focus group as well. So not doing this step, building an audience, will result in a launch that you will be unhappy with, and that's the truth. Because you have to be able to tell people who care when it's time to get your product or service out there. That's really important. Lots of people will say that you can launch and have no audience, but I don't believe that to be true. You need an engaged audience who are interested in order to launch well. And number 3, share your idea early. So it's okay to soft launch and not be working towards hundreds of customers, but you do need to share the idea before you launch it. Let the audience that you are building know that something is coming and tell them what it is. And I know it's scary and you want to say, something is coming and that's it. I've done this and, it fell flat. I just said, something is coming. And I expected everyone to be excited, but they weren't. You have to tell them properly what it is they can expect. You've got to feel the fear and do it anyway. Otherwise, nobody's going to care. And I used to worry that my idea would be stolen, but nobody's going to do it like you anyway. Even if somebody decided, right, that's a great idea, I'm going to set up a podcast that's personal development for teachers. They're not going to do it like me. They probably struggle to get it out as fast as I will now. So yeah, you just have to do it anyway, not worry about it. Otherwise, nobody's going to care, and nobody's going to do it like you. We just have to be brave and share what we are launching before we launch it, and do that consistently. We can't send out one email or one social post on launch day and then expect people to support us and feel excited about it. We've got to plan in how we're going to drip feed the information. You have to make them part of the journey as early as you can. And, something I'll be doing is making sure that I'm really bringing people on the journey with me. So to help me, to help my audience feel part of the journey, I'll be getting them to subscribe to my mailing list. I'll be asking them to join my Facebook group. I'll be sharing my thoughts about podcast names and artworks, telling them about my progress in setting up the club, and asking questions that maybe I already know the answer to, but that create interest and engagement and help my growing audience to feel like they are part of something as well. So they're my 3 areas. Work backwards, build and make sure you've got an audience, and share your idea early. So if you've got a launch coming up, I hope that I've given you some things to think about. Perhaps you'd like to learn more from me and become part of my Education Business Club community. We would absolutely love to have you in there, and you can find out more at educationbusinessclub.co.uk. Thank you for listening to the Education Business Podcast. To get more information to grow your business, sign up at educationbusinessclub.co.uk.